Hi, happy Friday. It is Stefanie Drysdale with your Friday Cyber Roundup, the weekly recap. And this is the second one. What are we, January 16th today? So for this week, not a ton of news. So I just want to kind of touch on a few things that we shared and then some cool stuff that other people shared. So first was the congressional discussions around cyber warfare. So to touch on what we're deciding in terms of Iran, I think is the catalyst for these discussions. But if there are cyber attacks, what are reasonable responses for us? What congressional approval do we have for those types of things? So interesting stuff coming down the pipeway in terms of cyber legislation. The next thing was cyber branding, branding for cyber criminals. This is becoming an enterprise kind of solution. So for cyber criminals, it's a competitive business for them too. So making sure that their marketing is tight and they're giving, all kinds of free perks and user-friendly crime tools. Interesting how that's taking a turn in that direction. So we'll be watching that more. Digital Shadows posted a really, really cool infographic on ways other people could potentially access your emails without you having clicked on anything. So it'll go into publicly shared information, access controls that aren't super tight, something as simple as paying $150 for someone's credentials. So this is another shameless plug for monitoring dark web and kind of trying to figure out how in demand your company's credentials are and who potentially, whether it be an insider threat or someone on the outside, is looking at purchasing those credentials and accessing your private data. The next thing that came up is, to build off the cyber insurance, we're now looking at active shooter insurance. So companies are looking at how that information is, how they're able to take active shooter situations and instead of waiting for litigation to come through to provide financial support for victims and companies, looking at the prevention aspect, because obviously with insurance, people are going to want to make sure that the systems and the policies and the procedures are tight before they're going to be willing to insure you, but to also have some type of support in the unfortunate event that would happen. The cool part that I was super excited about this week, obviously for selfish reasons, we just launched our travel intelligence solution suite. Very, very excited about this. This picks up where executive digital protection leaves off. It allows us to provide the benefit of our intel and cyber practices to the executives while they travel. Obviously, tucking in that cyber consulting element, letting people know when you're going to a location that requires a different degree of vigilance when it comes to your cyber practices. So do you need to bring a burner? Do you need to use a VPN? How should you approach your data security in those situations? So really cool stuff. Very excited about that. In terms of stuff that other people posted this week, I was really excited. James DeMayo posted a really good situational security awareness list to kind of highlight public locations that we have to have an extra degree of vigilance and protection for ourselves, just kind of knowing our surroundings, where are the exits, where are our allies, our help, those kinds of things. Really, really great post from him. He puts a lot of good stuff out, so follow that guy. Spencer Corson, another favorite of mine, his weekly newsletter talks about Venmo security. Make sure that your settings are tight on Venmo and kind of what information is out there. Monitor your accounts, set up alerts, multi-factor, the usual stuff that we encourage you to do all the time. It applies here, but definitely more here. There's a third party that stores your data for Venmo, so definitely worth keeping an extra close eye on. Michael D'Angelo, Safety Tips for Travelers. I thought that was a really great article. especially as a woman, a female traveler, always mindful of, who's listening, who's aware of where you're going to be staying, and just making sure that you're not going to give someone too much information that could potentially be harmful to you. So that was a really great post. My former mayor of Kansas City, Quentin Lucas, big shout out to my Kansas City Chiefs. So I was very excited about that. So another shameless plug there. Friedrich Christian Haas shared a really cool article on female business travel and harassment. Another, duty of care thing, another best practices thing. Protect the women in your life, protect everybody in your life, including yourself, and just be mindful of the special risks that people have to face when they travel. Just kind of everyone has their own custom things that they have to be aware of. It's really, really important that there is an awareness around that and that we support one another. So CSO Online published their guide to the top 2020 conferences. So I will be giving my team my wish list for where I plan to be this year. So a lot of normal, consistent ones that I'll be re-attending, and maybe some new ones too. So Dan Williams, he did stores that are tracking you when you're offline. So another situation where they have smartphone detectors within their storefronts, where there are facial recognition cameras. A lot of really cool stuff in the area of facial recognition right now. Cool in a technological way, maybe not so cool from a data protection and privacy way, but definitely things for us to watch out for and be mindful of. Jeremy at Deliver Fund, another huge fan of Deliver Fund. They do amazing things for human trafficking and rescuing people from really, really awful conditions and situations. January is National Slavery and Human Trafficking Prevention Month. So what they do is they take the really cool technologies that a lot of us use here in Intel and in cyber work, but they arm law enforcement with that to help them do their job. So huge shout out to them, follow them, support them. Anything they do is gold. So my own favorite, Chuck Harrell, he's doing his RSA interviews beforehand. So unfortunately you won't get to see him there, but get a chance to talk to him if you haven't already, or if you have, Chuck's always great to talk to. So make sure you reach out to him. And last, Bob Carver had a really cool article on SIM swapping prevention. So SIM swapping is where someone can take something as simple as your cell phone number and social engineer your cell phone provider to end up basically an account takeover for your cell phone account, which basically means they would have another version of your SIM card and be able to plug it into a phone. And before you know it, your phone becomes their phone and you don't have a phone. Not a cool thing. Make sure that you reach out to your cell phone provider and understand all of the layers of permissions that you can add to it and use them all. So as for that, that's all I got for you this week. Hopefully everyone had a good one. It's getting a little chilly here in Chicago, but stay warm, and I'll look forward to talking to you all soon.